Yes. Alright guys, part 3 for the KRAKEN 1/5 scale build. Brushless conversion, not going to be gas like well, I think it originally was gas, wasn't it, when it first got released, this kit. But we've got the MGM setup coming for this guy. That's later on. Still waiting for that to be delivered. But in this video, we're going to be putting together most of the chassis and putting the front end on. That's definitely, I've already done that. What I'll do, I'll insert that video right now. What's up guys? Now I'm going to start on these shocks. This is step 22 and 23. The front and the rear are the same process. Now I'm not going to show you the putting it all together because a shock is a shock and really gets a little bit messy. But what I've heard and what Carver told me as well is actually seal the top and the bottom with plumber's tape. Now this one is for gas, but I've heard it doesn't really make a difference which if it's for the normal plumber's tape or this one is for gas pipes. It just gives it a little bit extra seal so it stops or prevents any leakage. So the top and the bottom, you just put a bit of this plumber's tape. That's it, don't go too crazy, a couple times around, and that's all it is. It's just reassurance and to stop any leaking coming out. So that's all it is. Pretty easy. I just clean the top up with a nice blade there so it doesn't actually go into the main chamber here, and that's all there is. As you can see, there are several steps. It's got two O-rings, a washer, a little bladder and everything like that. Like any normal RC shock, nothing out of the ordinary. It's just massive, as you can see. They're bloody huge. So what I'll do, I'm going to put this together and I'll show you how they look when we're all finished. And just a quick one, you got these little plastic spacers and pieces that go into this center shaft here for, and just a quick one, you have this little tree here with these plastic parts that are needed to be inserted into this aluminium shaft here, and obviously they have a little bit of a injector mark on there. You need to cut them off. So quick tip, make sure you get them, cut them and make them nice and smooth around the edges. And I just got this old fine sanding block just to make them nice and round, because if they're not, you'll be jamming them in this hole, and yeah, you don't want that. You don't want to bite the edges or cause any issues, because this is where the actual shaft slides in and out of as well. So you've got like this is spaced in between these two, just like that. Need to just, it says to oil these two up here with a bit of silicone oil, so I'll just do that so it's not dry, and that's it. Put it all together. Enough yapping. And there we go. Those bits are in there, nice and sandwiched in there, and now we have this top cap which sits right on there, and then we screw it down with this bottom aluminium piece. So they're all plastic, this is aluminium, so let's thread that in there. And there we go. Once that's screwed down nice and tight, you know if you haven't put enough, you have to put too much plumber's tape when you can see it. So as you can see, it's all closed up, can't see it at all, and there we go, that's the bottom of it. So got to start on the shaft now. Pretty easy stuff. Now up to the shaft, and as you can see, this is plastic, the piston, and it's on that sprue as well. So you want to make sure that when you cut it off, there are no dags or sharp pieces on the edges. So give it a nice sand to make sure it's perfectly round, because that's going to be sliding up and down this aluminium body here, and if it's not perfect, then you know you won't get the best performance that you could be getting. So just make sure it's nice and smooth, round as well. And when you tighten down this top nut, what's nice, it's flattened here, so you can grip it with a spanner like that. So tie down this nut, don't go too crazy, and that's it. There we go, perfect, easy stuff. And I really like that flat piece, so you can grip it with the spanner, and you don't. I've seen people gripping these with multi-grips, no like rag or anything, and they just grip it. This spins, and then they damage their shock shaft. Cool. And there we have one mammoth shock put together. There you go. It's got a bit of rebound without the spring at all. Didn't want to show you putting the oil in. It's nothing too hard about it. Gives you all the instructions there. Didn't want to bore you, but that's the same for all the shocks. Now we have the spring seat, which is here. We need to attach a small O-ring right in the middle, just that guy there, and then we can put the bottom and the spring on and give it a test out. Done. There we go. pretty easy, nothing to it. But there we go, 4 of these I need to do, so there's one, I need to do 3 more, but yeah, that's pretty hard, and yeah, bloody heavy too. Now as you saw guys, for that video I put together this, well, the shocks and the rear, so the front and rear shocks, everything is put together. I've gone ahead and done step 27, which was just putting the, can you grab that for me, Carver? Putting it all together, just like that. And as a size, you know, it's pretty big, but everything is all put together now. That's pretty much a front end. You're good doing that, huh? There we go. So that's it. Now we're up to step 28, which opens bag F. And that pretty much is starting the transmission and the slipper clutch and everything that goes with that. So what we'll do, we'll put all that together. There are several parts, several different plates, and yeah, we'll show you how it looks. So that guy basically there has like friction pads here, right? And the manual recommends you tighten the retaining nut all the way down, then back it off 1/4 turn,
and you put this dude
and that's it. That's ready to go. But that is one huge ass piece. It weighs a bit as well. So now we put the drive cups on.
And drive cups.
Even though this has got blue Loctite on there, it requires red on the manual. And you don't want these coming loose. Might be a bit of a pain as well to get to once everything's put together. They're attaching all the drive cups and all that kind of good stuff. All good?
Yeah, you gotta, because they meet in the centre, the two different pins, so you gotta get them centred up nicely. So
yeah, why is
over
that?
tighten one or the other.
Yeah, okay. Beefy. All good?
Actually, I can't do that with this. I need a driver. You got a driver for this?
Sure do.
Pushing the it's impacting that much that it's pushing the screw out there.
Oh, let me have a look. All good?
Yep, done. One transmissione.
So it is all done. Wow, that's heavy as
So actually, that thing you were just talking about, it is still used. It's there.
Yeah, I know, but isn't that the same because it's actually gas? You need the bell housing because it's a clutch bell. Isn't that the clutch bell housing? Which is what you'd need. Right there. But now we're just going to be running a straight, you know?
Oh, straight pinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, now, like I mentioned before, I've done the front section, but step 28, which is bag F, a lot of it involves the center plate, which is where the motor mount sits and stuff, and a lot of it is for currently the gas version.
We don't run gas.
We're not running gas here.
NFG, no fuel or gas.
No fuel or gas. This part has the some of the components, but I'm not too sure if we need it.
We're not sure if we need them.
So what we're going to do, we'll get rid of all these steps, and we'll start building the rear of the car, because when the MGM setup comes in...
no, the Wheelman Designs Conversion Kit.
The Wheelman
Kit.
There we go.
That's what we're waiting for.
So we'll do that. We'll get up until... Yeah, we can start here, bag G, which is the rear bracing and all that rear section of the car.
Sure.
That'll look pretty sweet. So because this part's so complicated, all these little parts, we're not going to bore you with all this. What we're going to do, as you can see, these are beautiful side plates. They look really, really nice.
They do, although
that'd be nice.
To Kraken, it would be nice if you CNC etched that nicely and then, you know, put some paint in it or anodized it or something else. Like I can see that scratching and looking pretty.
It'll scratch straight away.
How's your father?
That's right. Oh, well.
Real quick.
So we'll do all this, and yeah, and make sure there is updated parts on this bag. Oh, blow that exposure. There it is. There. You got to use these parts for bag G. So it's got to make sure when you get this extra bag here that you use these upgraded parts. There we go.
They call me the Cuban Pete.
So that is 39 and 40. They're the side plates.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Yeah, that was real easy. Finicky though.
Let's get moving.
Little bits and bobs everywhere.
What's next? Aha.
40.
You do this. I'll go get the chassis. It's a pretty big chassis you got there.
It's looks like a pizza.
It does. Maybe we'll fire up the wood fire.
Hey, Giuseppe! Let's make us some pizza.
Like a margarita?
I like a margarita.
So what have we got here? Oh, we've got a brace. Obviously the chassis brace. That's for the rear. Obviously this is plastic. But that's not a bad thing.
You want something to move in it.
Yeah, of course you have some flex. The way Luke Cray drives as well. You know what I mean? He's a bit.
Yeah, car ends up on its arse all the time.
Yeah, he's a bit funny, that guy.
She's a bit heavy-handed. KV3372. So 3372 are the shorter ones.
Very nice.
Yeah, everything's nice.
Everything's really well designed. So this, obviously, the kick up there is for the front. Obviously, the squared off section here is for the back. And this guy seems to go somewhere just like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Goes like...
It's all keyed as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, that's it. Drop it in like that. We'll put that in there, and well, there's some other components as well, some other plastic parts to hold some of the different components, and obviously everything is countersunk, and it still recommends using Loctite for the plastic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For this particular part?
Yeah, it does. Do we want to do that now?
Yeah, for sure. So step 43 involves putting this whole center part here, which we're not too sure we need at the moment because of the gas and LiPo conversion we're doing, brushless conversion. So we're going to jump to step 43, which are these side plates, and mounting them to the rear of the car, which should look pretty sweet. Yeah, it's going to go that way. So obviously they're going to go on the back right there. So we've got these mounts here. Everything is nice and secure. These really thick screws, with obviously going to use Loctite. So we use them on the side. You've got 3 screws, I believe, at the bottom. Here's what the manual's saying. We'll put them on. It's going to start looking like a car. Definitely makes handy when you've got more than 2 hands, doesn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't do this with one person, I don't think. Well, you could.
You could, it just takes
a lot
much
of
longer.
effort.
And patience. We don't have patience, do we?
No, man.
I don't know. Something about us.
That's why we don't do fuel or gas.
Yeah. Look, I do. At least gas is better than nitro in regards to.
Like glow nitro.
Glow nitro, yeah. It's just more reliable. Not reliable, but holds tune easier. All that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, but still, you still got to watch. I don't know.
You know, anyway, let's not get into that argument. Put the next side on, and yeah, happy days. How does that look? Wow, there you go. That looks so much bigger now.
It's the dragon head!
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's
pretty cool,
like,
though.
if you look at it like this, it looks like the front of like one of those longboats from the Vikings.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Oh, yeah, it does too. There you go, looks starting to look bigger. When everything's separated,
Come on, hang on.
Quick. It's going to go on next anyway. Oh, that goes even further, yeah, but there you go. And with those huge ass wheels on it. Sebi for size.
Sebi for size. Dude, this thing's going to be bigger than you. You're going to have to grow some.
Blue Loctite.
Blew me, baby.
Blew me up. There we
get it on there, get it on there.
Come on, there we go. Now what we need to do, these are the braces that run in between the 2 side plates. There are 3 of those, if I'm not mistaken. Or is there more? You know what you're doing? The good old not lined up trick.
Still mustn't be like
Better?
that. No.
Is it lined up?
Kind of.
Those screws aren't long enough. Is it?
Dude, they're the screws.
Oh, okay.
I promise you.
What about a bash it with a hammer? That normally works. Classic, what was wrong with it? Just wasn't lined up?
No, I think because it wasn't lined up, I created a little bit of burr on the edge of the thread. And then it wasn't biting, so I just pulled it out.
Done it again.
Screw her in, screw her out. You know?
Crazy's a bit cover. Crazy's a bit cover. Cover's a bit crazy, isn't it?
Crazy is the cover.
There we go. This one should be better. There we go. That's how it's supposed to go. So put the next 2 in and done. So there we go. That's all mounted. Super strong. You might notice that we don't have the rear half of that. What is that? The chassis
transmission
brace.
case,
Yeah.
chassis brace.
It's going to go in here. We'll have to pull it out anyway to when we put the setup, the brushless setup in there. So
We
we
just
can
want to make sure we don't lose any screws or
yeah.
parts.
So everything's in there. Just want to get into like a roller stage, I guess. We're just going to take this one side out when we put the setup in there. Easy. Next step is. What is the next step?
Next step is next time.
Bag
this
H.
stuff.
Oh, step 46, bag H, basically is all regarding the gas part. You've got the receiver module here, which holds the, the batteries,
Battery packs.
battery pack, and the all that other kind of good stuff. Not too sure what we're going to do here with the brushless setup, but everything else here is regarding the motor, setting up the motor, all that kind of good stuff, setting up the linkages. So we're going to skip that part. We're not having to worry about the center drive shaft as yet to the front differential. What we're going to do is we're going to connect part 64, the whole front end on to the chassis, just like that. And now once that's on, it's going to look really, really nice. Now that basically takes 4 huge ass screws, obviously, that's going to go right into the base plate of that chassis. Which we'll get right now. So it takes 4 16mm screws to lock that first section in. And you've got to obviously, don't forget the Loctite. And then once you do that, then you put the bumper over the top of that as well. Now that takes another 4 screws, but that bumper screws in the bumper and into there as well. Through to the, yeah.
Just to let you know, Loctite should be used on all your RC cars. Metal into metal requires
I love Loctite. Oh, of course. Yes. I'm surrounded by nutcases. There we go. Done.
She has a bumper!
Looks pretty solid though.
Right.
But once the wheels...
she's going to need some T-bone bumpers for sure, man.
Do they make it for this?
I don't know. Ask them to.
Have to check.
T-bone, make some bumpers for this thing. Vekta.5 LSE.
Carbo has to leave us now. He's got to do his nails. I'll continue with step 66, which is the rear diff. Or the rear solid axle.
We already built that diff.
Yeah, the diff's done. It's got to put the solid axle together.
Oh, you're going to enjoy that, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Okay, while Carbo's going to get his nails done and pedicured and all that kind of crap, let's get working on this beautifully, machined piece solid rear axle. And that's, I guess, one of the main parts of this car, especially when you look at it from the rear. It just looks beautiful. So this step, bag K, step 66, we have to actually get all this prepared. So got to get this gear here, and obviously you've got to put a bearing on both sides. One from the back as well. Press fit in there, just like that. And this one's going to go from the front to the back, just like this. Nicely done, everything fits in as it should. Step 67 requires you to get the pre-made, or the diff that we made earlier, and with these kind of supports you got to put on the other side of the bearing. You're going to make sure that you put it in the right direction, and that is, if you're looking at it from this, you put it to your left, or my left, depends however way you look at it, and you see these 4 holes, they've got to line up with the 4 holes on this kind of brace or support. Just like that, you've got to shimmy it in there, and once you get it in there nice and tight, how it should, just like that, then you can screw it down and get everything all in there situated nicely. Once you put all that in nicely, then you've got to secure it down with these 4 cap bolts, and you've got to definitely make sure that you use the blue Loctite that it recommends. Okay, now when you're putting in this actual rear diff part, you have to make sure that it's in the correct orientation to the actual solid axle. Now it tells you here on the manual, you've got to make sure that these 2 screw mounts are up, and you're looking at it from the rear like this, and this is on your left side. Now once that's the case, you can just screw this guy in. Just like that. Now put it to the right torque setting, so that's how it's supposed to look. And now, obviously you're going to need to add some grease to that, but what I'll do next is I'll show you these. These are obviously the drive shafts, left and right, and what they have is they have a really unique way, even though it's a solid rear axle, you can still adjust the toe-in and camber of this car. As you can see, when you rotate this, like, I don't know, if it's a cam, you can adjust the camber. As you can see, when I rotate that, you can see it has some negative camber. If I keep rotating, that's kind of neutral and gives you positive camber as well. And if you look at it from the top view, if you rotate it as well, there is your toe in, so there's toe in, and toe out, so that's pretty cool. Now, really unique, like I mentioned before, even though it is a solid rear axle, it still gives you that customization if you want to get some better suspension tuning. And that's held in, what you do, it's got 2 grub screws, one on either side. You lock it into place, find out where you like it. What I'll do, I'll give it a bit of, let's just say, I don't know, positive, or no, let's give it some negative camber, and then we can adjust it however we see fit. So what you need to do is lock that in with 2 grub screws, and obviously I've got to add some grease, but you've got to add this really beautiful machined cover, really nice. And this step requires 2 screws at the bottom. The other ones will be attached later on with some of the other rear suspension linkages there. So what I'll do, put some grease in, and I'll put these 2 covers on and lock this all up. And there we go. Now I decided not to go with the stock setting, or there's no real stock setting. I went with 2.5 inch or 2.5 degree toe in and camber, just something that's in between. Yeah, as you can see, 3 dots on either side. So this is facing the rear of the car, so the left, 3 dots here will give us that setting. Pretty cool. I like that idea. Gives you a lot of options to for tuning. But there we go. Really nice tuner. We've got the grease in there. Everything spins really nice and freely considering its size. Really happy with that. Looks sick. Okay, now we're moving up to the rear section, and this is the actual rear drive shaft. As you can see, it's 2 sections. I've done it off camera because there is a grub screw they've got to put all the way in here, and a pin smaller than this one that goes through there, as you can see. But it has a flat spot that you need to be facing up towards this center section, so you can drive a grub screw in there to lock it all in, and you require red Loctite for that. Very important. And so that's pretty much, that's all that part is. So now we have this other juicy part. This is the other half of that. As you can see, it's going to go like this to form the universal joint. So we need to get this and one of these, and we're going to lock it away with this huge pin. So the other half here, as you can see, it's got the other section of the universal joint that we need. Now what we need to do, we need to mate these 2 parts together. And now what we need to do, you need to line all these up, kind of slide it all in together. So everything, it's a bit hard to do on camera, but yeah, basically put it all together. And see this other pin, you have a flat piece on the top as well, which that grub screw needs to bite on as well. So if I can line everything up basically like that, this guy goes in there. Make sure the flat bit is facing upwards like that. Drive that pin in and send her home, because once that's in, just kind of like that, there is your universal joint. Cool. I'll get the grub screw in there, locked away, and I'll show you how it looks. There we have 1/2 of the telescopic drive shaft. The other half we'll be using later, but as you can see, basically goes in just like that. Telescope. That's it. Now all that needs to be done is connect this to the other, or to this section, and this is done. Step 75 will be completed, and I think I would leave it at this for this particular video, because it's probably getting a little bit long. But very imperative that we all use red Loctite on these, because we don't want this stuff coming out. And yeah, Loctite's your friend, especially when you're working with this metal and this size of RC. Certainly don't want it to come and lose, that's for sure. And I always get the wrong size bits. There it is. It requires a tool that you get with it. It's massive. So we'll send that home, and you also need to cap it off at the top with this other smaller screw as well. Red Loctite. And next video, promise, we'll have the suspension done for the rear, and we'll make it it'll be a roller pretty much then. And well, there's no real rush because we're still waiting on the MGM setup to come in actually, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But next video we'll get the suspension done, and also yeah, the wheels and tyres. Obviously we got the foamies for that all in as well, happy days, all done. So that's it. Make sure these are all locked away, kind of like a, there we go. Set one side up, getting the wrong ones all done up, but I hope you guys are enjoying it. Thanks for watching. Another video down the drain, all done. There we go. So there is our nice universal joint. Yeah, that spins really nice, look at that. No binding whatsoever. And make sure, sorry, I forgot to let you guys know, when you're doing these, because it has pins in for the drive shafts, it's captured via these like cams, and if you slide it out or you know, move it a little bit, those pins might get moved out and dislodged, and then you won't be able to push this in further enough. You'll know when you can't spin this freely that they're not in properly. So as you can see, that spins like butter. So awesome stuff. So next step, next video, we'll start on the rear suspension, and definitely we'll make it a roller prepared for the MGM setup. So thanks guys. Any questions, leave them down below. If you like the video, give it a good old thumbs up, and also if you haven't, please subscribe, hit that bell button if you want, and if you check out my Facebook page, there's always data on there and info about other upcoming builds, and also on my Instagram page. So links are in the description. Thanks guys. Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. Appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.